What if I told you that the greatest philosophers in history believed that being single was actually a superpower? That Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man in the Roman Empire, considered solitude to be the ultimate path to true happiness and unshakable strength? Today, I'm going to share with you the shocking Stoic truth about why staying single might be the best decision you'll ever make. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why ancient wisdom that's over 2,000 years old is more relevant today than ever before. But here's the thing, this isn't just philosophy. This is a complete blueprint for transforming your life, building unbreakable confidence, and discovering a level of freedom that most people will never experience. Before we dive deep into this life-changing wisdom, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Why? Because I'm about to share insights that could completely change how you view relationships, success, and happiness. And if this resonates with you, you'll want to be notified every time I drop new Stoic wisdom that can transform your life. Also, drop a comment right now and tell me, I'm ready for the truth. Let's build a community of people who aren't afraid to challenge conventional thinking and embrace ancient wisdom. Listen, I know what you're thinking. Society has programmed us to believe that being single means something's wrong with us, that we're incomplete, that we need another person to validate our worth and make us whole. But what if everything you've been told is completely backwards? The Stoics, Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca, these weren't just philosophers sitting in ivory towers. These were men who faced real challenges, real pain, and real adversity. And they discovered something profound, that true strength, true happiness, and true freedom come from within. Marcus Aurelius ruled the Roman Empire, yet he wrote in his personal journal, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking." And here's what's incredible. I'm going to share with you the exact 3 Stoic principles that will show you how being single isn't just okay. It's actually your secret weapon for building an extraordinary life. Stick with me, because the second principle is going to blow your mind. Let's start with Marcus Aurelius, arguably the most powerful man who ever lived. He had everything, absolute power, unlimited wealth, and yes, he was married. But listen to what he wrote in his private thoughts. Confine yourself to the present. You see, Marcus understood something that most people miss entirely. When you're constantly seeking validation from others, when you're always looking for someone else to complete you, you're living in a state of dependency. You're giving away your power. But when you're single and you embrace it with Stoic wisdom, something magical happens. You become the master of your own destiny. You don't need anyone else's approval to feel good about yourself. You don't need someone else's presence to feel complete. Marcus Aurelius faced plagues, wars, and betrayals. Yet he remained unshakable because his happiness didn't depend on external circumstances, including other people. Think about it. When you're in a relationship, how much of your emotional state depends on how your partner is feeling? How much of your day is spent worrying about their moods, their needs, their problems? I'm not saying relationships are bad, but I am saying that if you can't be happy alone, you'll never be truly happy with someone else. The Stoics called this autarky, self-sufficiency. It's the ability to find everything you need within yourself. And when you master this, you become incredibly attractive to others, but more importantly, you become unshakable in your own strength. Now here's where it gets really interesting. There's something I call the freedom paradox, and it's based on pure Stoic wisdom. Most people think freedom means having unlimited choices. But the Stoics discovered that true freedom comes from choosing your constraints wisely. When you're single, you have the ultimate freedom to choose your constraints. You can decide exactly how you want to spend your time, your energy, and your attention. You're not negotiating with someone else's schedule, someone else's dreams, or someone else's limitations. Epictetus, who was literally a slave before becoming one of history's greatest philosophers, said, "No one can hurt you without your permission." Think about that. A man who was physically enslaved understood freedom better than most free people today. Why? Because he realized that true freedom isn't about external circumstances. It's about internal mastery. When you're single and you embrace Stoic principles, you have the freedom to wake up when you want, pursue your passions without compromise, travel wherever you want, whenever you want, invest in yourself without having to justify it to anyone, take risks that could transform your life, build the exact lifestyle you envision. But here's the paradox. This freedom actually makes you more disciplined, not less. When you're not distracted by relationship drama, by trying to please someone else, by compromising your values, you can focus entirely on becoming the best version of yourself. And ironically, this makes you incredibly attractive to high-quality people. But by then, you might realize you don't need them to be happy. Now, I promised you 3 life-changing principles, and we're about to dive into the second one. This is where Epictetus reveals the secret to emotional independence that most people never discover. And trust me, once you understand this, you'll never look at relationships the same way again. Epictetus taught something revolutionary. You are not your emotions. You are the observer of your emotions. When you're single, you have the perfect opportunity to master this principle. You can learn to observe your feelings of loneliness, your desires for companionship, your fears about being alone, without being controlled by them. Most people in relationships are emotional slaves. They're happy when their partner is happy. They're anxious when their partner is distant. They're angry when their partner doesn't meet their expectations. But Epictetus showed us a different way. He taught that we can choose our emotional responses. We can decide what affects us and what doesn't. When you're single and you practice this Stoic discipline, you develop what I call emotional sovereignty. You become the ruler of your inner world. No one else can make you feel anything without your conscious choice. This doesn't mean you become cold or unfeeling. It means you become incredibly powerful. You can choose to love without neediness. You can choose to care without attachment. You can choose to be vulnerable without dependency. And here's what's amazing. When you develop this emotional independence, you actually become a better partner if you do choose to be in a relationship. You're not bringing neediness, insecurity, or emotional instability. You're bringing strength, confidence, and genuine choice. But more importantly, you realize that you don't need a relationship to be emotionally fulfilled. You can create that fulfillment yourself through your own thoughts, your own actions, your own choices. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." When you're single, you get to practice this every single day. You get to choose how you react to loneliness, to social pressure, to well-meaning friends who think you need to be fixed. Now, let's talk about confidence. Real confidence. Not the fake confidence that comes from external validation, but the unshakable confidence that comes from self-knowledge and self-mastery. The Stoics understood that confidence isn't about feeling good all the time. It's about knowing you can handle whatever life throws at you. When you're single, you're forced to develop this kind of confidence. You have to learn to make decisions without constantly seeking approval, handle problems without immediately looking for someone to rescue you, enjoy your own company without needing constant entertainment, face your fears without having someone to hide behind, build your own life without waiting for someone else to complete it. This is what Marcus Aurelius meant when he wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. Every challenge you face as a single person is an opportunity to build this unshakable confidence. Every moment of loneliness is a chance to discover that you're actually great company for yourself. Every social situation where you show up alone is practice in being comfortable in your own skin. And here's the beautiful thing. This confidence becomes magnetic. People are drawn to those who are comfortable with themselves, who don't need constant validation, who can stand alone without being lonely. But the real gift isn't how attractive this makes you to others. The real gift is how attractive this makes life to you. When you're confident in your ability to handle anything, when you know you can create happiness from within, when you're not afraid of being alone, life becomes an adventure instead of a problem to be solved. The Stoics called this ataraxia, unshakable peace of mind. And it's only possible when you stop depending on external things including other people, for your inner stability. We're about to explore the third and most powerful principle, Seneca's wisdom on solitude. This is where everything comes together, and I'm going to give you a practical action plan that you can start implementing today. Plus, there's a special bonus at the end that could completely transform how you approach your single life. Seneca, the wealthy Roman advisor and philosopher, wrote, "All cruelty springs from weakness." But he also wrote something even more profound. Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. When you choose to embrace being single, you're not just avoiding the complications of relationships. You're choosing to begin a relationship with the most important person in your life, yourself. Seneca spent time in exile, forced to be alone with his thoughts. And he discovered that solitude isn't punishment, it's preparation. It's where you develop the strength, wisdom, and clarity that make everything else in life possible. When you're alone, you can't hide from yourself. You can't distract yourself with someone else's problems, someone else's drama, someone else's needs. You have to face who you really are, what you really want, and what you're really capable of. This is terrifying for most people. That's why they jump from relationship to relationship, always looking for someone to fill the void, to distract them from their own thoughts, to give them a sense of purpose. But for the Stoic, solitude is sacred. It's where you do the work of becoming who you're meant to be. Seneca wrote, "You must carve out time for yourself every day to sit quietly and think." When you're single, every day is an opportunity for this kind of self-reflection. You can ask yourself the big questions. What do I really want from life? What are my core values? What kind of person do I want to become? What legacy do I want to leave? How can I contribute to the world? These aren't questions you can answer while you're constantly focused on someone else's needs and desires. These require solitude, reflection, and honest self-examination. And here's what Seneca discovered. When you know yourself deeply, when you've built a strong relationship with yourself, when you've learned to enjoy your own company, you become incredibly selective about who you let into your life. You stop settling for relationships that drain your energy or compromise your values. You stop being desperate for companionship. You start choosing from a place of strength rather than need. This brings us to the ultimate Stoic principle, the power of choice. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Confine yourself to the present." Epictetus taught, "You always have a choice." Seneca believed, every moment is a fresh beginning. When you're single by choice, when you're embracing it with Stoic wisdom, you're exercising the most fundamental human power, the power to choose your own path. You're choosing to develop yourself instead of depending on someone else. Face your fears instead of hiding behind a relationship. Build your own happiness instead of waiting for someone to bring it to you. Create your own adventure instead of waiting for someone to share it with. Become the person you want to be instead of compromising for someone else. This doesn't mean you'll never be in a relationship. It means that if you do choose a relationship, it will be from a place of strength, not weakness. From abundance, not scarcity. From choice, not desperation. The Stoics understood that the quality of your life is determined by the quality of your choices. And the choice to embrace being single, to use it as an opportunity for growth and self-mastery, is one of the most powerful choices you can make. Because here's the truth that society doesn't want you to know. You don't need another person to be complete. You don't need a relationship to be happy. You don't need someone else's validation to know your worth. You are already complete. You already have everything you need to create an extraordinary life. You already possess the power to be happy, fulfilled, and successful. The Stoics knew this 2,000 years ago, and it's just as true today. Now let me give you a practical action plan based on Stoic principles that you can start implementing today. Morning practice. Start each day with 10 minutes of reflection. Ask yourself, how can I grow today? What can I learn? How can I become stronger? Evening review. End each day by reviewing your choices. What did you do well? What could you improve? How did you exercise your freedom? Weekly solitude. Spend at least 1 hour each week in complete solitude. No phone, no distractions. Just you and your thoughts. Monthly goals. Set goals that are entirely within your control. Focus on character development, skill building, and personal growth. Quarterly adventures. Plan something you've always wanted to do, but never had the right person to do it with. Travel alone, take a class, start a project. Annual vision. Create a vision for your life that doesn't depend on finding someone else. What do you want to accomplish? Who do you want to become? Remember, the Stoics believed that the goal of life isn't to be happy all the time. It's to be virtuous, to grow, to contribute, and to become the best version of yourself. And sometimes, the best way to do that is alone. If this video has opened your eyes to the power of embracing your single life with Stoic wisdom, I need you to do something right now. First, smash that like button. Not just because it helps the algorithm, but because you're making a commitment to yourself. You're saying, I'm ready to embrace my strength, my freedom, and my power. Second, drop a comment below and tell me, I choose strength over neediness. I read every single comment, and I want to know that this message is resonating with people who are ready to transform their lives. Third, share this video with someone who needs to hear this message. We all know someone who's struggling with being single, who thinks they need someone else to be complete. Share this with them. You might just change their life. Fourth, subscribe and hit that notification bell. I'm building a community of modern Stoics who aren't afraid to challenge conventional wisdom and embrace ancient truth. When you subscribe, you're joining a movement of people who choose growth over comfort, strength over weakness, and wisdom over ignorance. And finally, come back and tell me your story. In 6 months, in a year, come back to this video and tell me how embracing your single life with Stoic principles has transformed you. I want to hear about the confidence you've built, the adventures you've had, the person you've become. Because here's the truth. You don't need someone else to complete you. You're already complete. You just need to remember who you really are. The Stoics knew this. And now, so do you. Until next time, stay strong, stay free. And remember, your single life isn't something to endure. It's something to celebrate. This is Daily Stoic Insights, and I'll see you in the next video.